Hi, guys. Welcome back to the She Who Leads podcast. And today I brought you something that I've been working on for a long time now within my business. And something that I really believe that when you crack the code to, it just makes the whole experience so much more beautiful and so much more sustainable and just like so much sweeter. And what I'm talking about is fun. How you can have fun while building your business. Because let's be honest, a lot of us start businesses, yes, of course, to make money, and yes, of course, to feel more free. But also, do we want to suffer while we are doing those? I don't, and I hope you don't either. So, and to that, we need to make it fun. We need to be able to enjoy the process of building the business because let's face it, it will take time. It's very, 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 very rare, if even impossible. Other side, besides maybe the soul had the exact plan for making a business like a success overnight, like that, yes, can happen. That can be in someone's soul plan. But for the majority of people who wants to build a soul business and wants to fulfill their soul pulls, their purpose, it won't happen in a day or a week or even a month, or sometimes not even in years. Like, you really need to be able to put in the effort, the devotion, the like your focus, your time, your attention, and your energy. And you can choose to build it while basically suffering through it, or you can choose to build it while actually enjoying it, while having fun day to day. I'm not saying every day, but like most of the days with what you are doing, because that again comes down to ingredients that comes down to how you are doing things, and a whole bunch of elements to it, which I will talk about a bunch of them in this episode. But it really, I want you first to understand that it's having fun is not by chance. Like having fun with something comes down to your energy, your focus, your attention, and how, like, the frequency that you are in, and that we have complete control over. Like, the one thing that you have complete control over is your frequency and your energy and your mindset and everything that goes into your frequency. So I just want you to really, 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 really like lock this in, that you decide. You decide if you are suffering while doing something, or you are trying to have the most fun while you are doing something. And again, I will say this as a side note. Yes, there are challenges in our lives that it's very, very hard to make fun. Like, I won't tell you that that's not true. But again, we always have a choice. We have free will. The law of free will is there and you can use it. You have a free will to choose how you look at that situation and how you go into that situation. And that is very true in your business, with your business. And with your business, there will be a lot of challenges. If you are building a business right now, you know that there are a lot of decisions to make. There are a lot of challenges to overcome, a lot of mistakes to do, a lot of traps to fall into. Again, we all have the choice to how to go into those and how to go about those. And first, I want to talk about, just very briefly, why is it actually so hard to like have fun in your business, to enjoy building the business? Because you need to understand what are the underlying subconscious patterns, emotional imbalances that come into play with this specifically, that make you basically a non-match to having fun. And when you start to understand those, this will be your like first step, standing ground, stepping stone, whatever you want to call it, to actually starting to let go of those and incorporate more fun into your day-to-day business life, because it is possible. I've done it. I have been, and again, like just to understand where I'm coming with this, I have been the person who like goes for suffering every single time. Like I fully believe that to grow, to get something, to reach a goal of mine, I have to suffer like crazy. Like I have to be super serious. I have to be super responsible. I have to suffer through everything. Like pain is actually like, without pain, there is no reward. Like these were the mindsets that I was like working with, and like basically that were like, I don't like this, I don't like the word control, but in a sense, like they were running the show subconsciously for me. So, and again, I'm not saying that I never, ever fall back into that, because again, that's not the goal, to never like be either one or the other. I just, but I got to a point where I am consciously choosing every single day, or almost every single day, what type of energy do I want to be in that day, and what type of energy do I want to build my business that day from. And that's a huge relief, a huge relief. So you can get there so much. And I never enjoyed building my business so much than I've been lately, which is a big thing to say, considering that I've been building a business one or the other way for like, I want to say almost 10 years now. I think it's eight years now. So, and most of those years were like suffering, controlling, not enjoying, like really creating a type of day-to-day life for myself that I was trying to basically run away from when I quit my job, because I didn't want it to be a slave for someone else. Then I became a slave for myself. So a whole other thing. And we do this so much. So why do we do this then? Well, again, just as a mention, I really won't go into these, because actually in some of those I went into detail in previous podcast episodes. So I actually have a podcast episode that I think it's titled "I Built My Business and I Hated It," like something like that. So check that, because a lot of the whys I am going into detail in there. But again, just to have a full picture, the first thing that we tend to do is, when we start a business, we really don't trust ourselves, right? At some level, that is understandable. Like, it's the first thing, you want to have some kind of a safety, certainty feeling in your life. So you're trying to copy others, you're trying to mimic others, you're trying to follow what others are doing, because if they made it, that must mean that you will make it too, if you do the same as they do, right? So, and again, for the purpose of learning, that's amazing. You can learn a lot from trying to do what other people do. But what ends up happening is basically we end up staying in this loop of always trying to mimic others. And we try to force ourselves to do things that are actually not aligned with what we do best. Just a quick example of this, and I see this so much, especially in the coaching space, because a lot of amazing coaches use Instagram to build their business, right? To like have followers, to promote their courses, like everything. And when I became a coach, and I am coming from a marketing background, so I have a very thorough, detailed, and wide understanding of the different ways you can build a business, and the different channels and funnels, and like it's just all a big puzzle that you basically, like, not even puzzle, it's like if you have like a ton of building blocks like Lego, and you're just like picking random pieces, and you're basically building the best thing for yourself. But what people end up doing is they see someone is building a ship from this Lego. Well, I guess I should build a ship too, because it doesn't matter that I actually hate sailing. It doesn't matter that I actually hate the water. And I feel super uncomfortable when I am when I'm near water. I will still build a ship because everyone I know who is doing what I want to do is building a ship. So that must mean that that's the only way of building that ship, right? So I hope you kind of see what I'm trying to get to here. We're forcing ourselves to do things because we believe that that is the only way to do that. But actually, what ends up happening, we are not following our genuine, unique design, which everyone has. Like the soul put together, you put you together, yes, put you together very, very deliberately. Everything about you was chosen for with a purpose. So how you talk, how you connect with people the best, how you can express yourself the most authentic way, how you create the best way possible. So that's very, 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 very unique to every single person. And when you use that, instead of trying to force someone else's creative process on yourself, you will free up so much creative power within yourself. You will start to feel more natural in what you are doing, in how you are connecting with people. And that will make you so much more magnetic. And it will be so much more fun for you because it won't be a struggle. It won't be forcing. It won't be like swimming against, I always forget the word for this, like up the river. What is that, like the current? I think it's the current. So up the river, but basically you're sitting in like a comfy little like I don't know, rubber, I don't know the swimming gear names in English. Super funny. So you just sit in your I don't know, let's call it I have no idea. What do you sit in when you are in a pool? Uh, Anyhow, you know what I mean. You are just like sitting comfortably on your in your little boat in the river, and then like going down, and the water is bringing you. Like that is when you are using your own unique like gifts and expression and design and everything instead of forcing yourself. So that's one thing that takes up so much of your energy. You don't even notice it, but it takes up a lot of mental space, it takes up a lot of emotional space, and also it creates so much resistance within yourself subconsciously, which again takes up a shit ton of mental space. A lot, a lot, a lot. I noticed I've been doing this for a long, long, long time before I realized, like, no. And this is basically one of the first things that we work on. Well, not the first thing, but like when we are looking at the how to get clients part of the coaching, like this is the first thing that I like to look at because it frees up so much of your mental space and gives you basically freedom and like a big relief of like, finally I don't have to force myself to do things that I actually hated doing. And you can start to figure out what is that you are actually loving to do in the business, and the stuff that you love to do, you will be 10 times better than the stuff that you are forcing yourself on. It's crazy. It's a crazy difference. So that's the one thing. The other thing that usually ends up happening is, and why it's not fun to build a business, it's the over delivering. Like you feel like you have to give without ends, because, and the root of this is an emotional imbalance, is not feeling valuable. When you don't feel valuable, you feel like you have to over deliver whatever you are doing, because that would give you the sense of, well, if I am just like dumping value on them, that what I deem value, if I dump value on them, like that would actually make them believe that what I am giving is valuable, which is again not true, because you are overstimulating people, you are overloading people. They will feel overwhelmed, to be honest. And it won't change the fact that because you feel invaluable, not invaluable, because you don't feel valuable, that's a different word. I don't know what's with my English today. because you don't feel valuable, that will be written in your creator field, and no amount of overgiving will actually erase that from your creator field. And because people read your creator field subconsciously, no matter how much you give and no matter how much you overgive, they will still feel like this is not valuable enough. They will still feel like this is not enough because you feel like it is not enough. It's a whole different thing that, again, we work on a lot, not a lot, like very focusedly in the coaching, because it is tied to so many things. Like it's tied to how much you can enjoy business, because when you're overgiving, just imagine like how much more work you are creating for yourself when you are overgiving because you are not feeling valuable. And that, like, again, nothing, even the stuff that you are built to love, is meant for you to do all the time. And when you're overgiving, you will feel like you have to do things all the time. Like you won't have a time for yourself. You won't have time to rest, to relax, to your hobbies or your family or whatever. You always will be in this rush. And the business will drain you because, again, you are overdoing what you are actually supposed to do. And again, like value is tied to so much more. Value, like how valuable you feel, is directly tied into how much money you can make. So it's a very, very important piece of the puzzle of the coaching that I do, because when you start to feel valuable, when you root into your own value, it shifts so much in your business, so much, not just how much fun you have, but also how much money you make, how people connect to you, everything, basically everything. The next thing that makes it super hard to enjoy the business is the expectations that we set. And you are talking to the queen of expectations here. Like I really want to like assure you that everyone sets expectations. A lot of us don't even know that we set expectations to every single little tiny task that we are doing. If you believe that you are not having an expectation from something that you do, you are lying to yourself. That's the truth, because subconsciously we tie an expectation, an outcome, to every single thing that we do. This is just how the ego works. The ego is looking for a reason to do things. The ego is looking for a way to validate that the thing that I am spending energy on right now is actually will worth it to me in a very short amount of time. Like that is what the ego is looking for. And a lot of the times it's subconscious. Now, what happens when the ego feels like, oh, so I actually didn't get the outcome that I want? Well, the ego will feel like, what a waste of time. What a waste of time. What a waste of energy. That is what the ego thinks. Like, I wasted a bunch of energy, which is very precious to me. Like, to the ego, energy is everything, because the energy that we have, mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, is what keeps us alive, according to the ego, which is true. Like the amount of energy what we have is basically directly relates to how alert we are, how much we can, I don't know, like be safe out there. Again, like physical energy means like, can I run away when there's threat? Mental energy means like, can I think quick enough when something that is dangerous comes to me? Like can I come up with a solution quick enough? Emotional energy, can I stay like as emotionally balanced as I need, or can I bring in the right emotion in the exact second when I need it, when something dangerous is coming to me, right? Like there's just so many layers to this. And how it kind of taints the business is basically because we have all of these expectations, because we have this set outcome. And where it really goes, like locks this in, is that we usually believe that there's only one right outcome to something. And if that one right outcome doesn't happen, then the ego is like, okay, that was a waste. That was a waste of energy. I wasted energy. I wasted time, which I could have spent on something else, which may have been more successful, right? Which may have got me what I actually wanted. So then it starts like this self-criticism, this, again, more doubt, more like hate, self-hate, like it goes all the way. And what is supposed to be fun, what is supposed to be something that we could enjoy, is tainted because we already go into something. And again, this in the business is specifically true because we have so much expectations from ourselves. Yeah, we have a lot of expectations to ourselves, um, connected to the business, right? We have the expectation to make money, a lot of money. We have the expectations to have a lot of free time and a lot of freedom. We have the expectations to feel safe. We have the expectations to actually it would be good to enjoy it. I usually see like that tends to be like in the runner-up category, but still, like, we have the expectation of like, yeah, it like we have the expectation from the business and then from ourselves to create the life through this business that we actually want to live. That's a big expectation to have, a big expectation. So what ends up happening is this big expectation is actually pressuring every single task that we are doing, every single one of them. Like when you sit down writing an email, a newsletter, you have the expectations to have a certain amount of open rate, which in your mind, you have the connection of the more people open my email, the more people possibly buy from me, right? Or the more people click, the more people possibly buy for me. When those don't happen, then you have the disappointment, then you have the doubt, then you have, oh my God, I again messed up. And this is true for every single one, every single thing that you are doing. Again, I want you to like, if you have the urge to fight me on this right now, that no, I don't have this expectation, Daniela, you are crazy. Like, I am so chill and I am so easy. Well, first of all, if like, again, that's super true that you're super high frequency, you're super evolved. But again, I tend to notice that with every single thing, if you didn't work on this specifically, like putting down the expectations and detachment, which again is a big part of the coaching journey that I'm doing with clients, because all the reasons that I told you, it's a very, very big possibility that those expectations are there, but you are not conscious of them. So they are subconscious expectations, which in a sense, it's a bit more tricky because you still like need to figure out like what is actually the expectation, so you can start to work with releasing that expectations, which is totally doable. Like, I've done this for myself so freaking much. Again, remind you, I was the queen of expectations. I'm still, sometimes I am, like, I still catch myself like, oh yeah, like creating something and then I'm super disappointed at the end. And here's a hint for you, like, you know that you had an expectation when you feel disappointed after you created something, or after you're done with something and you feel like this pang of disappointment, or like this pang of like numbness, or just like even frustration. Those feelings are a telltale sign that actually you had an expectations that you didn't really know about. Fun, you can try it. And it is doable. You can put it down. I've done it with so many stuff. Like, I actually love creating content. I love doing this podcast. I love writing. Like, it comes so naturally to me, both of those. And I had a phase in my business when I was building my soul business. Like, so on paper, it should have been perfect. I should have enjoyed every single second of recording the podcast episode. I should have enjoyed every single second of writing my newsletters on my sales page, or like everything that I was like, again, on paper, I was built to do this. And that was something that I had my mission with, and I was super locked in, and I am super excited about the topic. Like, everything was like perfect on paper, and I should have enjoyed every moment, but I did not. I started to like resent it. I started to I actually caught myself like, I'm not loving this anymore. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. What if this is not my soul pull? What if this is not my soul pull? What will I do? And like, again, like this spiral of doubts that started of like, what if I'm actually still not doing the thing that I was meant to do? And in my soul, I know I am doing the thing that I'm meant to do, or at least like the part of it, like for as much as I can know right now, I am doing the thing that I'm supposed to do. But again, what was there is, aside a bunch of different things, which I will mention shortly, is I had this expectation of, this email should be like this, and it should have an outcome like this, and oh my God, only like, I don't know, X amount of people like my podcast episode. Oh my God, like, no way. I don't like, and you know, like, it comes very subtly in the beginning, this expectation thing, and then it's just like compounds and compounds and compounds, and then you like someday like just wake up and find yourself in a business that you are supposed to love, and then you're almost hating. It's a very sucky feeling. It's a very, very sucky feeling, and I don't want you to have that. So I want you to give you the awareness to just like know this, like, know the whys. And at the end of the podcast episode, I am actually giving you amazing questions that if you will ask yourself, it will give you a sense of, oh, where am I actually doing any of these with myself right now? So stay tuned for the end. But the expectations are very, very real, and they will taint any part of your business that you will actually love. Like, even at some point, they tainted my one-on-one coaching sessions, which again, like, it's something I am built for. I'm loving that so much. Like, really, that is my jam. And I started to dread it, because again, I had the expectation of like, oh my God, like giving the perfect tool to every single person, like 10 of that are perfect tool. And I want people to just like have like a whole, I don't know, solve in like one session. Again, it's not realistic. And that's the other thing with expectations. They're usually not really realistic, especially if they're coming from the ego, and expectations are always coming from the ego. That's also something to remember. They are never, ever coming from the soul. The soul doesn't have expectations. No, the soul doesn't have. That's very important. And that's kind of leads me into the other why that I want to mention in this podcast episode, is the different fears that we tend to have. Again, that goes back into the emotional imbalances, the self-image wounds, and like everything that I am talking a lot about in this previous podcast episodes, a lot about. So go back, listen to those. But like basically everyone has like a lot of self-image wounds, emotional imbalances that that gets you away from your true self, your core self, who you really should be, who your soul made you to be, and who's the most powerful, most amazing, most unique and special and creative and everything person in this world, in your own like soul pool. Like, no one is better suited at creating what you are here to create. That's a given fact. But we have a lot of fears because we have a lot of conditioning while we are growing up. And one of these fears is the fear of mistakes, that people are just terrified of making mistakes, I have to tell you. And that's a big one for me too, in a sense of I've been working on that on and off for quite a bit of a time now. And I know a lot about this fear. I have a lot of tools to deal with this fear, because I am also like in one way or the other dealing with this fear, or have dealt with this fear. So again, how this gets out of the fun is I am almost getting into the next section of like how to make the fun into it. But again, it makes you believe, the fear of mistakes make you believe that there's only one right way to do something. And if you are not doing that one right way, then you are doomed. That is the extreme, and that is what a lot of people are in. And that's that's not working in a business. That's not working with building a business, because building a business is about making mistakes. It's about testing a bunch of different things. Like just thinking about marketing is basically testing a bunch of different things, a type of different content, different channels, like whatever that you feel called to test from a genuine curiosity, to see which mix is the best for you. It's a very unrealistic expectation to yourself, to want from yourself to do something perfect for the first try. And I know that because I have that expectation a lot from my, it's like I really have that expectation a lot for myself, and I've been working on that very, very focusedly again in the last, I don't even know how much time. But I already know that, like, it's a very unrealistic thing to do, because it's not how the world works, and especially it's not how the soul pool works, because the soul pool is designed for you to gain mastery. Now, gaining mastery works that you don't just know how things work, you also thoroughly understand how things don't work. Because when you are teaching someone, when you are helping someone, you need to know, you need to be able to explain why a certain route doesn't work. You need to explain all the different mistakes that they can make. And the only way, the true mastery and teacher way to do that is to experience all of those mistakes for yourself. I know, it sucks. I know, I hate it too. No, I lie. I'm starting to loving it. But our ego really, really, really hates this. Our ego really, truly detests this type of work. And that's what needs to be addressed. And that's what needs to be, again, like working together with the ego, because in my coaching, we work together with an ego, not against the ego, working together with an ego and establishing this trust in mistakes, which again is very doable, and seeing them for what they are. They're your greatest teacher. So, and one thing again, just for mention, is, which I think is really, really important, specifically with the soul pool business, is the fear of being disliked. Man, like that is basically the root of all the people pleasing that you can experience. And I kind of believe I also had an episode about this. I'm not sure. Browse through. I'm sure there's some, like I mentioned it. I'm sure that I mentioned this and talk about this more in depth. But basically, we have this innate want to be liked. Again, that's coming from the ego. And when we feel like that's in threat, we will do anything to be liked again, right? Which again, in your business means that you are doing things that you actually don't want to do just to please people, to please your clients, to please your audience, to please the algorithm in any platform. We do this because we don't want to be canceled. We don't want to be, we don't want clients to leave us, right? And that puts a lot of burden, a lot of external burden, again, in a form of tasks, in a form of extra work, in a form of extra free advice that you may give. And also a lot of internal resistance, because again, like the soul self wants to be authentic, wants to be itself, and doesn't want to please people. Like that's the ego's doing. And that creates an internal resistance, which is super, super, super tiring. Every time you sit down doing something just because outside of people pleasing, it's just not possible to enjoy that for you. Maybe on the surface you feel like, oh, this is exciting. That it's again, that's coming from the ego of like having the expectation of, oh, fine, I will do this, I will please these people with this, then I will have the outcome that I want, and then everything will be happy. What ends up happening is actually you are doing something to please people. People aren't pleased because people cannot be manipulated like that. And then you don't have the outcome that you want. And then your ego will like, what? That was a waste of time. And then you hate what you were doing. And it's this vicious cycle all the time. So now that we had, like, we went through why it's actually hard to, it can be hard, not, it's not hard, it can be hard, why we make it hard to enjoy the business, because we are doing this to ourselves. Like, I'm sorry to be the messenger. If you're hating your business right now, you're doing that to yourself. I'm really, really sorry to tell that. That was very hard for me to hear for myself too. And I just like realized that for myself. Like, I cannot really blame anyone else for suffering through those times of my life when I was really suffering with the business, because I did that to myself. Which the cool thing is that I can also do the reverse of that, right? So how can we make the business fun? So how can we make the business fun? Well, the first thing that I want to bring in here is the experimentation factor of the soul pool, which basically means that your soul pool, and I mentioned this already, is designed for you to figure out unique solutions, unique ways you are helping the world, and unique ways that you are creating value basically with your business. That's what that means in the 3D earth place. And for that to get that unique solution, it's basically you are inventing new stuff. Like, if I want to be very simple with this, you are here to invent new stuff. You are here to invent your ways to deal with the body, ways to heal the body, ways to work with energy, ways to, I don't know, feed the body the best, ways to meditate better, like whatever it is your jam, ways to recycle better, like it can be anything. It can be micro, macro, like global. Let's just, like, it doesn't really matter at this point. What matters is you are here to invent new stuff. You're here to create something unique. Your soul pool is unique. You're here to create something unique through your soul pool. This means invention. Talk to any inventor, any scientist. They will tell you that the road to inventing something took extreme amount of failures, inventions that didn't work, inventions that almost worked, inventions that almost blew up the whole lab. Just read the story of Apple, read the story of Microsoft, like any big new invention that is around now. Just read the story, how they started. It's a lot of trial and error. And that comes from experimentation. And I love the word experimentation because it doesn't have that loadedness that we have with trial and error, because error is already like, oh my God, like, again, like we have this negative feeling with mistakes, which again, in the coaching we erase, and you will have a very positive association with mistakes. But for right now, I would love for you to just like taste the word experiment, because experimenting is the way to figure out your unique genius, ways to get to the point of where you are basically inventing something so unique that it's not existing in the world. And then you get to a level of mastery. Again, experimenting will bring you to a level of mastery where where anything you can create is gold. That's a super cool level. And why this makes the business fun, when you can get into that state of, oh, actually experimentation, I'm experimenting and it's a good thing, and I'm loving it, because it takes off the pressure of, okay, so this thing that I'm trying right now has to be the thing. It has to have the outcome. It has to have the solution. You're basically, okay, I'm doing test run 5 and I'm seeing if it works or not. What we work on again in the coaching is to weed out all of the emotional imbalances connecting to that, because there can be quite a lot, meaning that when you feel like, experimenting is not valuable, or when you feel like you have a time pressure and you feel like you don't have the time to experiment, like there are all these imbalances that can again taint this type of being of being in the business. But it's very, very doable. It's super, super fun, and it takes a lot of pressure off yourself. And the next thing that I want to mention here, like pressure is easing me into that very nicely, is incorporating play in the business. And I know that this is a big concept. I know that this is like, oh my God, like, yeah, how do I do that? Like, but for now, I just want you to understand that, again, first of all, play and business can be together. Like, I already see like people disassociating from play when it comes to business, because business is like super serious and I have to take it seriously and have to be responsible. I cannot play around, right? Like we even have this saying, like I cannot play around with my business, because like my livelihood depends on it, my family depends on it, and I get that. Like it has, again, there's a lot of self-image stuff and emotional imbalance that can connect why it is so hard to let play into the business. Just what I mentioned, like if you have some trauma around safety, if you have trauma around responsibility, if you have trauma around showing your silly self, like the one who is carefree and careless, everyone has that self too. If you have trauma around those, it will be quite hard at first to see, like, first of all, play is valuable, like that actually can get me to places, and also to see that yes, it has a place in business. It really has a place in my day-to-day business operation, right? Just think about kids, how much energy they have, right? Like how much they just like can go on and on and on and on and on. And it's not because they are so young. Yeah, of course they are so young, but what is missing from their lives a lot of the times is the pressure of the outcome, the pressure of the expectation, the pressure of, and again, I'm like, let's talk about a healthy childhood, a healthy family and everything, like when the kid can play and just like do whatever they want to do in a sense. They don't have any expectations around how they are playing, right? Like they are just start to play with dolls, start to play with the car, start to play with the Lego, and just like they don't check the time. They don't say like, okay, I have 30 minutes to play with the Lego, and I have to build a ship, and then I also have to build like a flower, and I also actually I want to play with the dolls today too, so I have to allocate time to play with the dolls. But the dolls have to be very tidy, and at the end, like they have to be brushed, all of that. See, like I'm already getting like rattled up about this. They don't have that. They just sit down and they just touch whatever they see first, and they like it, and they play until they don't want to play anymore with that, and they move on to the next stuff. And obviously I don't want exactly for you to do the same in the business, but I just want you to start to see different pieces of the play, and those can be very much incorporated in the business. That's also something we work in the coaching, because when you start to incorporate elements of play into the business, you will actually feel like you are playing. You will actually feel like that something that you are doing is fun, and you won't need the, like, first of all, I've been doing this I've been testing this on my business. That's my new thing. That's my new thing. I'm testing this on my business, and I have to tell you, the last couple of months I have been so mentally trained. By the end of the day, like by 6-7 p.m., I was like, no one talk to me, no one ask me anything, I have no thoughts, I cannot form a sentence, I just wanna like lay or sit and like just not to think about anything. Like that was my state. And I was just super tiring. It was like months of this. And I was craving a break. I was starting to hate what I am doing again. I was super, super frustrating. And I started to incorporate elements of play into my day. And now it's 7 p.m., 8 p.m., and I'm like, okay, I am fully aware. I can think, maybe I want to read a book, or maybe I want to go out, or maybe I want to watch a movie, like a real movie, like not just something that I watch to just like numb myself, but like something that like very interests me, or I want to play the piano, or I want to draw. Like I have this mental capacity which I did not have before. And that's so amazing. And it's so like, again, I'm still learning myself to do this, and I'm still testing, experimenting with it. See what I did there? With different ways of incorporating this, and what works I'm bringing with myself, what's not working I'm leaving behind. And it is amazing. Like, I have the first-hand experience of what it's like when you have play and when you don't have play in your day-to-day life. It's all the difference, like really all the difference. And so it really works to do it. And what I want to also mention is the third component here. And again, these are big chunks, and also these have like there's other components, but these are something that you can start to think about. And the third component is simplicity. So that kind of goes back to when I talked about overgiving. And because we don't feel like, first of all, you have to be feeling like you're valuable, like you have to root into your value to be able to start not overgive. But when you do that, and then you see that, oh, okay, so how can I actually simplify what I'm doing? How can I actually simplify the business? Let it be a process. Let it be a content creation process. Let it be what I am actually putting into the content. Like what I've been doing right now is I used to do these like elaborate outlines for my podcast, and like every single thought that I have, like I have to put it in, because otherwise I will forget it and it won't be as valuable. And like, see. And now I'm just like, okay, I am like, basically I have my notes here. It's, I don't know, it's like 5 bullet points. No, I'm lying. Sorry. It's like 3 sections and 3 bullet points to every section. Like that's it. And I'm not even really looking at it. It's just like here in front of me. If I maybe like, actually why it's here in front of me, because of the questions that I wrote down. But otherwise, it makes my whole process so much more simpler, because first of all, I don't have to spend an hour on the outline. And the other thing is, it gives me the creative freedom when I record to just like talk about what actually comes to me, to channel what's needed to be said, what you need to hear to get the most out of this episode. So it has so many additions. And actually, how I got to this is not adding more to my plate, but like getting off some stuff off my plate. And there's just one example what I did. And there's a ton of ways that you can simplify and make your business so much more enjoyable, because what will happen is you will feel like, oh my God, I have so much more free time. Oh my God. And you don't, again, have this pressure of like overgiving. You have this, okay, I am finished. And for example, newsletters were something that I wrote for like at least 2 hours. And now I'm like 20 minutes, maybe 40. Sometimes when I'm like, I have a lot to say, which not a surprise. Like it can be like an hour or maybe a bit more, but it's just so much more streamlined. It's just so much more easeful. And a very important part of enjoying your business is feeling like it's flowing. It has this sense of ease. So simplicity is an amazing way to that. And it is very much achievable when you are rooted into your value. Those two together will bring you so far. If you feel like you have, like you don't know where to start with this, like first of all, you can start with just like listening to this episode again, like doing like writing notes and see what sticks out to you. And again, I will share in a minute questions that you can start with. But if you feel like, oh, I have no idea where to start with this, or I actually have no idea where to start in building a soul business, or how to like, I don't know, just like have a lot of blocks, don't know how to do. I've been trying a lot. I've been struggling a lot. I just all over my head with this. You can book a free clarity call with me, which is a super like complimentary session. And on that session, we are focusing on your biggest block right now, which can be incorporating more play, which can be maybe seeing where you are not seeing your value. It can be focusing on your, I don't know, why you are not getting more clients, why you are feeling like you have to overwork, like anything basically. I look into intuitively to see like what is your biggest block and what is something that can move you forward the most with that block. And it's an amazing way to gain, first of all, clarity on where you are, and second of all, just like have that sense of direction again, which I know is so important, especially when we are all over in our head, or feeling like we're stuck, or feeling like we're going in loops all the time. It just gives such a big relief and opens up creativity and opens up the world again, and just like reconnect with the business. I know how important it is. So you can book that. You can find the link to that in the show notes. And it will be super fun. It's fun. I love I love coaching. I love connecting with people, and I love helping people get their direction. So it will be super fun. Okay. And as I promised, here are the questions for you that will help you see maybe where you need to dig deeper with this topic specifically to start to make changes within your business. Okay, the first question that I would love for you to ask for yourself is, where am I forcing myself to do something just because I believed this is the only way to do it? I repeat it, okay? So where am I forcing myself to do something just because I believed this is the only way to do it? This is a super powerful question. It will show you where you like limiting yourself to one solution, and where you are forcing something upon yourself that is actually not aligned. Super valuable question. Second question is, where am I over giving because otherwise I don't feel valuable? Okay, again, where am I over giving because otherwise I don't feel valuable? I don't think I need to explain this question. Super great for seeing where you don't feel like you are giving enough value, when you don't feel like you are valuable. Super important. Third one, what experiment can I run within my business right now? Again, what experiment can I run within my business right now? Extremely good question, and also like lead you a bit into this play, opens you up to this sense of like, oh, okay, so let's see if I can just like play with something, like experiment with something. It's a super great question. Fourth question, how can I introduce play into my daily tasks? Again, how can I introduce play into my daily tasks? And I want you to think small here. Like, don't think about like having to play like a full 8 hours. Just like small things, like small bits and pieces of like, how can I just like one way today that I can introduce play today into any of my tasks for just like 5 minutes. You know, think small here. And the fifth and last question is, where can I simplify my business to introduce more flow? Again, where can I simplify my business to introduce more flow? And again, I want you to think of simplicity in correlation with streamlinedness. It's not about just doing less, it's also about pretty much that. But like, how will this simplicity make a bigger process maybe more streamlined, more flowy, like less fractioned or fragmented? Okay, these questions will help you so much if you spend just like, I don't know, an hour for all 5 together, maybe even less, just like 5 minutes for each question. That will bring you so far, like whatever time you feel natural to call to do these. But I very much encourage you to write down the answers like with hand. That helps so much to just like focus in on the energy of these questions, because they have great energy, and they will get you to see the holes or the ways that you can really get into this frequency of like, yes, I am enjoying the business that I'm building, no matter which stage it is, where am I at right now, how many goals did I reach or not. Because the goal with this is to have a business that we can enjoy no matter what, not just when we reach a certain goal, because that would be doing things from the ego, and it will put you in this state of always chasing the next goal, to feel that satisfaction, to feel that ease, to feel that like relief that we want to feel. And when you flip the script and learn to enjoy the business with or without the goals, like no matter the goals, that will give you so much joy and amazing days in your life, that no reaching goal, like again, like it's a separate thing, but the soul will be very happy. That's what I want to say. Like the soul will be very happy, and when you can be happy from your soul, boy, that's a very different feeling than when you're happy from your ego. Very different, and so much more amplified and amazing and wonderful and fabulous and everything. So we are looking for that. We want that for ourselves, not the ego kind of joy and happiness. And you have everything to do that. And now you have even more with this podcast. Come back to this as much as you need, as much as you want to. Book a free clarity session if you want to dive even deeper, like tailored to your business, tailored to your situation, or whatever you are stuck with. Like book a session. Let's see how we can start getting you out of the situation. And I'm here for you to have success that you can enjoy, not just when you feel like you have the success, but also while you are building towards that success. Okay, thank you so much for listening, and I see you in the next episode. Bye.